Have you ever wanted something so badly, but still found yourself doing absolutely nothing about it? You've got these big, brilliant dreams. You've made plans, maybe even created a vision board. But when it's actually time to get to work, you hear that little voice in your head whisper, "I'll start tomorrow." If that sounds familiar, then this story is for you. This is the story of a young man named Arjun. He was a dreamer, someone who wanted success more than anything else in the world. The only problem? He didn't want to work for it. Arjun was the kind of person who always talked about the great things he was going to do. He would tell everyone, "I'm going to start a business," or "I'm going to learn this new skill that will change my life." He had his goals perfectly mapped out in his mind, but when it came to taking that first simple step, an excuse was always ready. I'm just too tired today," he'd say with a sigh. Or maybe, "You know what? Next week is a much better time to start." His favorite one was, "I'm just waiting for the perfect moment." But here's the thing about waiting for the perfect moment. It never arrives. The days turned into weeks, the weeks into months, and soon, months had melted into years. Arjun's dreams remained exactly the same, grand and untouched. But he hadn't. He was older, and the gap between who he was and who he wanted to be was getting wider and wider. One sunny morning, while wandering through the town, Arjun came across an old carpenter working by the side of the road. The man was focused, his hands moving with a steady, practiced rhythm. He was shaping a rough piece of wood, and with each calm, precise movement, it was becoming something beautiful. There was a quiet patience in his work that captivated Arjun. Feeling a mix of curiosity and his own frustration, Arjun approached him. "Sir," he asked, "don't you ever get tired of this? Working every single day, just chipping away at a piece of wood?" The old carpenter looked up, his eyes crinkling at the corners as he smiled warmly. He set down his tool and said, "You know, when I was your age, I was a lot like you. I was full of ambition, but just too lazy to begin. I had this grand dream of building a beautiful house for my family. But I never picked up a single hammer. I kept telling myself I was waiting for the perfect time, for the perfect materials, for the perfect weather." He paused, looking at Arjun with a knowing gaze. "It took me a long time to realize that time never becomes perfect on its own. We are the ones who make it perfect, simply by starting." Arjun stood there, silent. The carpenter's words hit him harder than he expected. The old man continued, his voice gentle but firm. "You say you're ambitious, my boy, but ambition without action is just a wish. It's a daydream. Do you know what's better than the greatest, most detailed plan that never starts? The smallest, most insignificant step taken today. That tiny step is real. It's progress." That night, Arjun couldn't sleep. The carpenter's words echoed in his mind over and over again. Ambition without action is just a wish. He thought about all the times he had promised himself, tomorrow. He had a sudden, painful realization. Every single tomorrow he had been waiting for had already passed. They had all become yesterday. He had spent years waiting for a future that he was supposed to be building. So, the very next morning, something inside him shifted. He woke up early, the sun barely peeking over the horizon. He didn't wait for a burst of motivation. He didn't wait to feel confident or inspired. He didn't wait for the perfect moment. He just began. He started small. He read one chapter of a book about business. He made one phone call he had been putting off for weeks. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't a huge leap forward. But it was something, and that one small action made the next one a little bit easier. One small step led to another, and then another. Soon, he had built a chain of small actions, creating momentum. For the first time in his life, Arjun started to see real progress. His dreams were no longer just fuzzy ideas floating around in his head. They were taking shape, becoming tangible, becoming real. He was building his future, one small piece at a time, just like the carpenter shaping his wood. He learned a powerful lesson along the way. Success isn't always about being the smartest person in the room, or the most talented, or the luckiest. More often than not, it's about being consistent. It's about showing up when you don't feel like it. It's about continuing to work when others have already given up. It's about choosing action over excuses, day after day. Years later, Arjun became a well-respected and successful man in his community. When younger people would come to him for advice, asking for his secret, he would just smile that same warm smile he once received from the old carpenter. He'd say, "It's simple. I stopped waiting for the right time. I decided to make today the right time." So, let this story be a reminder for you. Ambition means nothing without effort. Dreams mean nothing without action. And you don't need to be perfect to begin. You just need to begin. Because in the process of beginning, in the journey of taking those small, consistent steps, you become the person you were always meant to be. Thank you for listening to English Tales. If this story inspired you, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more motivational stories told in simple, clear English. Remember, simple stories can teach us the most powerful lessons. See you in the next one.